To those who joined now, my humble pranams to all of you. As we all know that we are doing Swadyaya on living with the Himalayan masters by Swami Rama. The past 2 weeks, we have been talking about Swami Rama's life and his learning from various teachers in Himalayas, from his own master, and the master has sent it all over India to learn. So today we will be continuing with our another 12 chapters, and each masters will be taking 3 chapters to discuss. Today we have Master Pathma, Master Shasi, Rekha, and Master Krishnaveni to discuss the other chapters. The first 3 chapters I will discuss. So just give me some time. Okay, my topic today is an astounding mistake. Here, the first thing that he talks, they start the paragraph with, selfishness is one of the prominent signs of a spiritual man. We always think that spiritual men should not be selfish, but it's the other way around. Okay, if a spiritual man is not selfish, then he's not a spiritual man. So even our Patriji always tell us, be selfish. That means put yourself first before you do put others. So here, this let me tell his name. Yeah. His name Karoli Baba. He befriended our Swami Rama when he was quite young, and he is somebody who's he's not in this world. He says it's one place is on earth, the other place is somewhere else. And when people go and see him, he always tell, "Okay, now you have seen me, and it's time for you to go." Ja ja ja. He said, "Ja ja" means go away. That's what he will tell. So one day, what happened was one of the richest men from India came to see him, and he brought a lot of money. So what Swami Rama, what this Neem Karoli Baba did was, he took the money and he spread it and he sat on it, and he said, "Oh, this money is not comfortable. I don't want this." And I say, "I don't have a fireplace to burn to give me heat." And then say, "What am I going to do with this money?" So this rich man said, "Baba, you can buy things." And I said, "Okay, now go and buy some fruits for me." And then that place being a remote area, he couldn't find any fruits. And he said, "Baba, I cannot buy fruits now. There's no shop." And then Baba asked him, "Then what is the use of the money?" So what here, let me tell you the other one later. So what he said, and then he then Baba will ask him, "So why did you actually come to see me?" He said, "What actually you want?" He said, "Baba, I have a headache." I said, "The headache is because of you and your money, your craziness with money." And then he said, "No, Baba, please help me. I have a headache." So Baba will bless him. You know what he says or not? "From now onwards, you will be a headache to other people." So Swami Rama says, until today, that rich man became filthy rich and he is being an headache to the community. But his headache went off. So that's one part. And then the other part is the Swami, and talk about what he talks about money. He said we need money. We need money to survive. But he says, do not hoard the money. When you hoard the money, you are not letting other people enjoy the money. So this is a message, for all of us actually. And then Neem Karoli Baba loves Lord Rama. We all know he's an incarnation of Krishna, and he always is mumbling with Krishna's mantra and so on. And he has one here. Swami Rama says there's some interesting things that he wants to tell. So this Baba has the ability to see what other people are talking about it. So if anybody goes and see him, he will tell, "Oh, the other day under this tree, you are telling this and this and this." It's a very uncanny ability, when a master can tell you, what you have talked about, what have happened into your life. So it was really something interesting that I found. Another thing is Swami, because he is like, he's not conscious. He's always in himself, my internet says, is my internet okay? My voice coming through? Okay. It says unstable, sir. And he is always being within himself, he doesn't know what's happening outside sometimes, yeah. So what happens is, if he doesn't know whether he has eaten or not, so you will always ask Swami Rama, have I eaten? If Swami Rama say yes, you have eaten, he'll keep quiet. If he said no, means he'll start eating. So what Swami Rama did was, one day he wanted to check how many times does this Baba will be eating on that particular day. So every time we ask him, have I eaten? He said no. So this Babaji was going all over the places, everywhere he goes, people give him food. And he just kept on eating. He kept eating and eating. And he said in that particular day, he had 40 meals without realizing that he has eaten. And then I think Swami Rama felt, okay, that's it, enough. So that he told him, Swami, Baba, you have taken enough food for today. And then he stopped, So these are the interesting thing that happens, And the next one is my mother teacher. The mother teacher is actually a 90-year-old woman who lives in Assam. And this lady, she has been, one moment, let me mute everyone first. So sorry, there was some noise coming. And this lady, she has been in the temple, Kamakya temple in Assam, from the age of 12. And when he met her, she was 90 years old. And he said that to go to that place, he had a very difficult journey. And he stayed there for 3 months. The first 3 months, he said, it was a very difficult time for him. First few days were very difficult. And he stayed in a room that is where this mother was staying, and he was on the first floor. And he said on his first floor, they had lots of hole. And in this hole, rats and snakes will come, it seems. So he got so scared, So what do? He will, wherever he can find some cloth, he will just put it and lock it. And his room has lots of holes and all these things. So from the holes that he can see what is happening in this Mata's room. So this Mata, what she does in every day, 12 o'clock, she will go to the temple. And then she'll go to the temple again at 3 o'clock. So during this time, nobody is allowed to go with her. So she doesn't want anybody to go. So what this Swami Rama, being as mischievous as he was, he wanted to know what was happening. So on the third day, I think first 3 days, he didn't do anything. On the fourth day, what he did, he slowly went to the temple. And he was there waiting at the temple, one of the south gate. And he could clearly hear saying mantras. And this Mataji, she realized that he was there, and she started screaming at her, do not come inside. If you come inside, you cannot take the energy, energy from this place. And she gets up, and she was completely, he said, she's completely naked, but it was just a bone, a large frame of bones, but he said very shining, 90 years old, just imagine, 90 years old, shining, and the eyes are so glowing as if she was standing there and screaming at him, get away from this place. And she took a cane and hit him. So she had to run away from the place. So next day, what he did, he went to see her and he apologized to say, I'm sorry. And then he said, what she did was okay. And something interesting she told is, she called him by his nickname, which nobody else knew except for his master and her. And then he knew that this woman is such a highly elevated person. And he felt that whenever he's sitting with his mother, he calls her mother, his consciousness has gone up. It's like this, when you're sitting with another master, you will feel your consciousness has come to the same level with them, So it was like that. And she put her on her lap, and he said, when the moment the head touched on her lap, he felt that he was in the seventh heaven. He was so blissful, And mother gave him some advice, telling what, He said, you will find many obstacles on the path, but he said, you will cross it. He said, go with my blessing, she'll tell you, And then she also explained to him, and he found out that this mother never sleeps. So how he found out, the holes that I was telling you, he peeped in hole every day, like morning and night, he peeped and sees her. And she was just sitting there. She doesn't lie down on the bed, nothing, just sitting there. So he tells her, the next, when he sees her next, he said, Mata, come, I massage you, so you will have a good sleep. And then she started laughing. She said, no, you see, what do I need to sleep? I said, I'm not I said, the pigs, she compared our sleep is like a pig, we eat beyond our capacity and sleep like a pig. So she said that, and she said, I do not need sleep. And she started explaining, even though she's not educated, I strongly believe so, but she explained to him about the consciousness level. She talks about the dreaming state, the deeper state, and then the states of sleep, and she explains about Mandukya Upanishad. It's one of the difficult Upanishads for understand, and he was there getting about 70 pages of it written because of that. And she explained it very clearly without any mistake. And he said he didn't understand anything until he came to this a level, this 3 levels of sleep. And I think he came to another level. I cannot find out the word. There was one beautiful word, he says about Turiya level. When he came to the Turiya level, only you could understand what she meant about. And he said, and after 3 months, she went back. He has to go back, but he felt very sad. And she said, no, I'm with you. I'm the mother of the universe. I will always be with you and guide you. And when he goes to see his master talks very highly of her. And she was in that mortal body until the age of 101 years old. So the last one is an ageless yogi. So this yogi, what they're telling is he was actually, by the time he met him, is about 100 over, it seems. And he was living until the age of 150. But he says the ageless yogi, he cannot see the age on him. It was that, he looked young, vigorous, and he is one of the most celebrated yogi of North India, and he was very famous. Everybody come and see him, but he doesn't like to touch people, or he doesn't like to touch anyone. But he always talks about love. So this ageless yogi, he says, he says, happiness is the greatest wealth of all. And he said, punctuality is essential. I think we all, in our country, punctuality is something that we all don't really follow. But in our system, I'm sorry, with our PSN, we always make sure that it's 8 p.m. We start the session at 8 p.m. So punctuality is very important. And happiness is the greatest wealth of all. And what he says, to be, and then he asked him, why, how is it possible for you to live so long? And he said, he says he does a technique of pranayama, and he only takes fruits and vegetables. That's his only meal. And he said pranayama is very, very important to maintain a longevity life. But in our PSSM, we always say observe the breath. We do not increase or decrease our breath. So that is just a message that I would like to say before I end the session. Thank you, everyone. The next person is Pathmaji. Are you the next person? Who's the next person, please?
Not
please
me, Dilema. One moment. The next person is, if I'm not mistaken, it's Rehima. Shashi. Okay, Master.
Shashi Rekha. Okay.
Yes.
Hashima,
Okay.
the floor is yours, darling.
Okay, my humble pranam to Bida Mahapatriji and Swarnamala Patriji. Okay, my topic, my chapter is ego and vanity are in vain. Okay.
I'm sorry, Ma. Can you please adjust your camera because we can only see 3/4 of your face. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Now, okay.
Okay. Actually, Sri Rama want to meet his master. On the way, he stopped, want to meet his one Swami staying in Kanapram. Okay, so it was in one cave. So he want to visit him. He saw a lot of people bow to him and show respect. So actually, Sri Rama don't like to bow or something. He have his self and ego. So he don't like to do that. So when he saw Swami, his name is wait, I see the name. Okay. So when he want to sit beside that Swami, so Swami say you shouldn't, because you are student and master, you should sit here. But it's still like, why shouldn't I sit beside you? You must because you must know your role. Your the student's role is to clean, to cook, and to serve the master. You shouldn't sit beside the master. Then it was so you say somehow you have to you want to come to that stage, you have to something you must, it's a learning process. You must learn first. Okay, you shouldn't on the spot you come in one place, shouldn't like that. You must learn one by one, and you must have something. Egocentric is one of the thing you cannot learn. You cannot. That is the very important thing in the spiritual part, where you cannot. The ego is cannot tolerate at all. Okay, that is the first chapter. Okay, the second is my solemn ego. Okay, the solemn ego is about one chapter. Actually, Swami Rama also is student, and at the same time he also do teaching. Okay, when he do teaching, he have one student. The student is very humble, very but not really don't know, like he don't know something. So he take advantage and he asked to do this and that, ask him to serve for him all the time. So this Swami also do whatever he asks, he instruct. Then what happened? One day he went to one place. He asked to bring water for him. So suddenly he say, go on brushing, something like that. So it was what happened? Suddenly he just fall down, and he unconsciously he brush his using his finger. At last, the face was swollen. So it shows at last his master say is one of the six. He only actually he want to test you. You shouldn't do like that. You must have something like you must learn to. We must some.
Sasi, your camera is off again. Sorry. So sorry. You can only see half your face.
Okay. You say the message is something like we must always respect all of them. We shouldn't ego, something like that. Okay, the third is cultivating inner qualities. Okay, the master asked about one question in Upanishad. Is say something got a lot of contra. Brahman is one in one chapter. Another is everything is Brahman. Another is world is false, and Brahman alone is truth. So he just want to get the answer from Sri Rama. So he went, so many people want to ask, but all the master don't want to answer to him because he have the self-ego. So he said this is very important thing to learn. You shouldn't it's a very subtle truth. It cannot come easily just like that. So at last you found one more master. His name is Vishnu Maharaj. Okay, he want to see him, but normally he feel like shy to come. He go back. At last, the Vishnu Maharaj, once he come beside, okay, want to eat, come beside, come eat together with me. Then he said, then only he tell about this. Then he say, I can see you still got ego inside you. Okay, you prepare yourself first. Tomorrow you come back. Then the next day he really prepared, he's so humble and so bold to him. Then only he realized that whatever we want, we must really something we must don't have self-ego. That's the main important thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rekha, for a wonderful discussion. Okay, I just want to add this. I'm just deviating from here. You know, Shriyan's Daga has talked about ego extensively. There are so many examples he has given. So please go and have a look at the Shriyan's Daga, the subject on ego, and you will understand better. Thank you, everyone. The next person is Pathma.
Krishnaveni, Master.
Krishnaveni, sorry, I didn't see the list today. Sorry, dear.
One. No problem.
Okay, good evening, Vidamaga Patriji and everyone in this platform. I'm going to cover 3 chapters here. The first one is about the Swami Rama thought that he was a perfect person. Okay. In this chapter, he was the master of him was asking him to go and attain knowledge from other Swamijis. And then he thought that he's very knowledgeable, and Swami Rama thought he's very knowledgeable, and his intellectual is very advanced compared to the rest of the Swamis. So he feel like he's very perfect, and he will walk very proudly about himself, and he will also talk proudly about himself to his master. And then his master will say that, are you drug? That means whether he's in like a drug person, no. So then after a few days he will come back and join back the same topic again. Then he say he need to go to other masters to attain some knowledge from other masters. So he says that, okay, he agreed, and then he will go. The first master, and before he left the place, Swami will, the master will tell him that he need to perfect himself for knowledge. The knowledge is the first knowledge is that he have to leave all his desires. Okay, the first knowledge he have to attain, he need to leave all the desires, and then secondly, he need to and he need to control his hangers. And the third thing is he need to sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. He need to control his angers. He need to live his desire, and he cannot be so selfish on himself. Okay. And another thing is he cannot behave like a child. Okay. He always behave like a child. Okay. And the first thing, he will go to the first master, and then to the first master he will go, and then he very jolly type now. He very the way he walk also like I really can feel how he described himself now. Very childish and very mischievous and very very happy and very jolly type. So he will walk, and then the Swami that he wanted to meet, he will be lying down at the under the bayan tree, and then he will lying down without anything. No, he's perfectly nothing. He wears nothing, and then he's like the weatherproof person. Whether it's a hot sun, whether it's winter time or anything, he don't wear anything. He will be very free with his without entire. Okay, so you know that they all will just wear one cloth only to cover the private part, right? So that's how the Swami will look. And then when he was looking at the Swamiji was just smiling and lying down. Then he go and he touch the feet of the Swamiji. And then the Swamiji say, he pretend like he didn't realize anything, whether this Swami Rama is already there. So he make don't know, and then he begin to massage his feet, because normally when they massage the feet, the masters will be happy, because most of the time they will walk very long journey, right? So the feet will be pain, all that. If most of the time the disciples and their students used to massage their legs, so he also do the massage, and then he thought that the Swamiji will be very happy to take his service. But actually what happened was, when he massaged his feet, he just kicked him away, and then he went rolling down the hills, many and he also got many injuries now. And then after he rolled down to the hill, down of the hill, and then he wake up and he was very angry. He was very angry, and he said that I need to teach this Swamiji a lesson. You kick me off. I want to break your both legs. He says like that. Then with his anger, he will go up the hill, and then we will be like standing in front of the Swamiji with the like in the anger way. Okay, and then the Swamiji will say, okay, you are not ready to take my lesson, just go away. The Swamiji will just chase him out from the place, and then only he will realize that at that part he didn't renounce his anger yet. Okay, and then the Swamiji will say that excuse me, you go away, and then he will leave the Swamiji, and he go for the next master. The next master, what he will do is he will go, and then the second master, okay, when he go there, he will the master will say that, okay, I have a farm here, chicken farm, you take the farm. Oh, then Swami Rama will say, okay, of course, I happy to receive the chicken farm, I'll take care of it. And then that point of time, the Swamiji said he never released his desire yet. He's still having the desire and attachment towards material. So that part also is like rejected from that Swamiji. And then he will go to the third master. When he went to the third master, before he reached the master place, there will be a small waterfall place. And then this master just left some of his gold coin there. So he will go there, and then he will pick up few coins, and then he will put inside his cloth and tie it and keep it for himself. And then after he keep, then he feel like, oh, I've done something wrong. This is not belonging to me. So it's not right for me to take it. So he will just unlock it, and then throw the coins back to the waterfall area. And then he will go and meet the master. When he reached there, the master will say, you already failed to come and learn the lesson from me, because you have taken what is not owned by you, the coins that you have taken. Then that part also he cannot learn much from there, and he will be moving out. So also from there we know that he never learned any lesson yet. His knowledge is only a theory knowledge. He knows everything. Theoretically, he knows everything, what to do, what not to do, everything he knows. But when come to practice, he's not. In this chapter, they say that a human being knows enough, but the human beings knows enough, but that knowledge need to be brought into their daily life. Most of the time, we never practice in our daily life. We only know what need to practice, what is wrong, what is right. But when come to practice it, we don't. So it is says that it is just remain as a knowledge, and rather we're supposed to be a being. We need to be with the knowledge, but most of the time we only knew the knowledge, but we don't be the person that we're supposed to be. Okay, this chapter is talking about that. And then the next chapter is talking about the practice makes perfect. Okay, when this Swami Rama, he will be taking classes with other students. So when the students, most of the students will be taking notes. Among all the students there is a Swamiji there, will be sitting there and just smiling at him, how he is conducting the class. And then he will be very annoyed with the Swamiji's reaction, because he was thinking, why this Swamiji, this student never take any notes, but he just smile and then just look and then just smile like that only. So he will be very annoyed, and then Swami Rama will be angry with him. And then this Swamiji will say that you only know by knowledge, by theory you know, but I can tell, what we call, I'm mastered in practical manner. So the Swamiji will say that, okay, I will prove to you that how I mastered it. He will ask one of the students to bring big ants, and then he will chop the ants to three parts. Okay. After he chop the ants to the 3 parts, and then he will just close the eyes and then just go on now for a few seconds, and then they can see the 3 parts of the ants will join back together, and the ants begin to survive, and the ants will run away. So when this happens, our Swami Rama will very anxious to know how he knows that knowledge. And then this Swamiji will tell, this knowledge I gained it from your master. Your master is the one taught me. So he got very angry with his master again. So what he will do, he will with the anger, he will go and see his master, and then he will ask the master, how come he never teach this tantras all to him? Okay, then the Swami will tell him, everything been taught to him, but nothing he's practicing. That's why he's not getting anything. So everything he knows that by knowledge only, by theory, but nothing he practiced. So he's saying that by practicing only you can make yourself to be perfect. Okay, that is end of the chapter for that. And then the third chapter is about the valley of the flowers. Okay, this Swami Rama actually, he don't know much about this valley, the flower valley. And he read one book written by a British writer, and he was so anxious to go to this valley, the flower valley. He wanted to go there and see the flower by himself. And then he managed to find out one Swamiji there. And then he went to the Swamiji. The Swamiji is actually 80 years old, but he's very strong and healthy person, even though he's 80 years old. And then when he went there, this Swamiji, they call him as Gudari Baba. They call him as Gudari Baba because of his blanket. The blanket, he was having very heavy blanket, and this blanket actually he will find a lot of cloths, old cloth. He will patch it together and make a very big, huge blanket. And this blanket, actually the weight of the blanket is 80 to 100 pounds. And everywhere he goes, he will carry this blanket with him. And with his 80 years old, actually people will be wondering how come you can carry the weight of the blanket. Okay, when when Swami Rama went there, this Swamiji, this master will just give him the blanket. He say, "Now you carry this blanket." And then when the blanket came to his shoulder, he will be like that already, half. You cannot carry the weight of the blanket, and then Swami will take the blanket from him, and then he will be asking about the blanket, and the Swami will be telling him that the blanket actually is a very powerful blanket. And then on the way to the valley, the flower valley, they will meet another Japanese monk. And this Japanese monk, actually, he actually was from the jungle, from the Burma. He was suffering from malaria. So he was in the Burma jungle. And then he also will join together with Swami Rama, together with the Karoli Baba, and this Japanese monk. Three of them will go together to the valley. And this valley, it seems that the smell of the flower in the valley will make them to be like lost themselves. They will be like missing of. They will be missing of their own self. They don't really feel themselves there. They will be like fully with the fragrance of the smell of the flowers. They will be like what do you call? They lost themselves because the strength of the fragrance of the flowers. Okay, then so on the way, the Japanese monk got a fever. He got a fever, and then he will be shivering. He cannot walk. And then at that point of time, this Karoli Baba will say that I will lend you my blanket. You try to use this blanket. Then he got that monk don't have other choice. He say, okay, I will use this blanket. So when the blanket goes on him, the fever will just goes off. So he'll be back to normal. So that is the beauty of the blanket. Is actually a miracle. Can say it's like a miracle blanket. Okay. Then when the fever goes off, they will continue with their journey, and then they will, when they reach the flower valley, as like what they've been read in the book, they lost themselves. They don't know where are they going, and then they also feel like misorientated. No, they are not in the walking. Their walking stage also will be like they don't walk in the normal manner. They will be like lost with the fragrance of the flowers. So after 15 days, they go around the flower valley. Then after that, they will dismiss. 3 of them will dismiss, and then they go to their own way. So this chapter is only talking about the valley of the flower. It's about that the fragrance of the flowers, and also the miracle of the Karoli Baba Jaya blanket. This is what I read, understand from this chapter. So that's all from me. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Venima. Wonderful, wonderful. Really enjoyed the way you narrated the story. One thing that we can understand that most of the people, they all look very young, right?
Yeah.
So even though they are 80, they are still young. 150, they are still young. So that is the message for today. Do lots of meditation, you also will become young. So back to you, Pathma.
Thank you, Tilama. Okay, before I start, I would like to offer my humble pranams and gratitude to Brahma Shri Pitamaha Patriji, Swarnamala Patriji Ma, to all the Pyramid Masters and universe. Okay, thank you, Masters. It was actually wonderful sharing. All of you did justice. Okay, on my chapters, it starts off with conquering fears. So there is I can say a quote here. Fear is the greatest of all foes. It is a devil residing within. Fearlessness is the first rung on the ladder of freedom. So in this chapter, Swami Rama, he brings us through 3 stories. And in all the stories, he talks about the fear, kind of fear that we humans have, and what under the influence of that fear, what we all are capable of doing. So the first story is the devil. Okay, one evening, Swami Rama and his fellow brother disciples, so they walked 30 miles into the mountain, and we don't know why actually they took that journey, but then they stopped at the Kedarnath, and they were so tired, and it was dark already, and they were so cold, and they just wanted to have a rest. And when they put up the night there, just sleep, because they are swamis, they just sleep by that, they don't need any like shelters. And what Swami Rama said, that time it was very cold and he didn't have any blanket to cover himself, and it was so cold that what he did was he used his hand and to probably put around his neck like this to make to feel warm, because they say your body heat tend to, you lose your body heat through your fingers, to your head, and through your neck. So that's why in a western cold country they cover your neck and everywhere. So Swami Ramas, to make his self feel warm, he was doing that. Then he talks about dream. He rarely have dream, but he said in his life probably he had 3 to 4 dreams only. And all those dreams, it's very like a premonition, prophetic dreams, so they tend to come real. So that night Swami Rama had a dream that a devil came and was strangling him, choking his throat with strong hand. So he was feeling suffocated, and his brother disciple saw Swami Rama's, in his sleep, he's very like discomfort like that. So the Swami Rama's the brother disciple woke him up, and Swami Rama was like, somebody is choking me, somebody is strangling me. And the brother disciple said, nobody, it's your own hand is strangling yourself. And to this, what Swami Rama is telling, the devil that we call devil, it's actually not from outside, it's within us. They say about the devil and the evil, it's actually from outside, and it's imposed by it's because of our ignorance. But what Swami Rama is saying is human mind is the human mind is the creator of that maya, that illusion. It can, our mind can assume the form of devil, at the same time can be divine. So what it also can be our best friend, and also can be our worst enemy. So heaven or hell, everything is created by our own mind. And he said this is because what, it's all whatever, this tendency, it's hidden in our unconscious mind. And when this kind of things comes out, when when you are in deep sleep, like just now Tilama said that the mother, the Guru Mata, she talks about the 4 state, and in during this one of dream state, you tell, those things that you suppressed in your deep conscious mind or unconscious mind tend to come out during in our sleep states. So this is so what Swami Rama says, they are various type of dreams. They are painful dreams and they are pleasant dreams. And other than that, they are dreams that prophetic dreams, means it's something like, it brings messages, it brings something that it shows a glimpse of future. So it tend to become real. Other than that, it's nightmare. So this nightmare, it's actually nothing but it's a sign of our inner frustration. So what Swami Rama says, if somebody somebody is very, very tired, or if they have bad digestion, also can induce this nightmares. So Swami Rama brother disciple told him, in Tamil there is a saying, irindavan kannukku, something, it's a nice saying, irindavan kannukku agandadallam peya, something like that. Agandavan kannukku irindadallam pey, right? I got it. So the Swami Rama's brother disciple say, you see a rope in darkness also, you will mistaken it for a snake. Even in darkness, when you see something moving also, for you it's devil. So this devil thing, it doesn't exist. And what they say, if there is only one the omnipresent, the omniscient, the ultimate being is only one, then how there can be a presence of something opposite than that? So he said, fear of devil, it's just a phobia. we have to eliminate those fears from our mind. So this is about this chapter. And then the second one, Swami Rama is mistaken for a ghost. Okay, Swami Rama, he was actually staying in a forest near Himalaya foothill. So, Swami Rama, even though he's Swami in progress, he always have this group of people coming and looking for him. And because of that, like what Master Rekha says, swollen ego, when you are still in like an intern, you get so many people around you, you tend to feed your ego. So Swami Rama, he said, the people used to chase him for blessings, like, Swami, please bless me, make everything happen like that. And he has no time to do his practices. And he's always disturbed by these people asking for blessing. So one day what he did, he found a cemetery near the this British soldiers buried cemetery, which is very clean and neatly kept. So one day what he did, he took a white blanket and he made a cover himself in made it like in a gown, and he was to protect himself against the cold, and he started to sit in the cemetery in the middle of the night and meditating. And then that time, two policemen, when they came for petrol, to just to patrolling, and when they just they have this torchlight, so they'll be shining randomly, and when they shine to Swami Rama's direction, they saw this image, something white is sitting on the cemetery. So for them, it's definitely, it's a fear, in a darkness, you see something white, and moreover, it's in the cemetery, middle of the night. Definitely, for them, it's a ghost. So they just ran away to their police station, and they just inform their fellow police people that there is there is a ghost is sitting there in the cemetery. So what happened, this rumor spread all over the place. So the superintendent of police, this man is a British man. So the next night, he brought few policemen with him, and then they wanted to go and check, is it really ghost? So they went on a ghost hunting trip. So when they went there, there was again Swami Rama sitting there with the white gown covered. You can't even see the face because he was fully covered. So when they shine the light towards his direction, when they saw that the white entity, so they were ready to shoot him. They're like, let's see if the bullet goes through that white thing. So luckily, the superintendent of police stopped them. They say, wait, what if it's a human? Let's go and just check. So when they go and check, at least they have that courage, to go and stand near, because definitely there is no street light that day. In that place, probably they just rely upon the torchlight. So when they shoot on the air, that's when Swami Rama came out from his meditation state. And the moment he came on, he's like, who are you people? Why you are disturbing me meditating? And the superintendent of police, since he knows Swami Rama personally, he apologized, and then he ordered these two discovered, the previous policemen, that because you made such a havoc, now you every day have to, serve him tea during his meditation time. So this superintendent of police, his name is Mr. Pius. So Mr. Pius, he wanted to learn meditation. So he regularly started to visit Swami Rama. And then he talks about fears. It's a kind of discourse. And Swami Rama said, among all the fears, the biggest fear that human has, it's deeply rooted in human heart, is fear of dying. And he, for humans, if we possible, we want to live forever. This self-preservation, this is what makes human, to think about unthinkable imagination, that death is painful, death is unknown, and all those kind of things. And that fear, it's what constantly hunt we humans. And then so Mr. Pius, he said he's scared of ghosts. And he asked Swami Rama if you've seen any of the ghosts. And Swami Rama answered, I've seen the king of the ghost. And he said, it's none other than humans. He said, we could be the personification of divine or personification of evil. It's be human. Sometimes they say there is no other horrible beast than humans. it's our tendency. And he said it's all in our, only when we connect with our true nature, we will be free from the all fear. And then after that, for some time, then Mr. Pius, he went back to Australia. And what Swami Rama says here, in our spiritual path, our biggest enemy is fear and laziness. Okay, the next one is my fear of snake. I'm sure all of us share, I mean, most of us share this fear, with snake. They said, Pamba kanda padayum padro. By, if you say snake, whether people will turn and check or not, the moment, that moment, everybody will start to just, run away. Even I had the experience. So in his, Swami Rama said, in his young age, he's fearless. If even the river Ganges is flooded with water here, and he can just cross the river, and he will go into the forest without any fear of wild animals. But he has, his biggest fear is of, he's so afraid of snakes. But if knowing Swami Rama is very swollen with egos, and he don't want to he doesn't want anyone to know that, so he concealed from everyone. So one of the time, he and his master went to Rishikesh, and then they went to one village. So after they took bath, they went and sat down a meditation, took bath in Ganges River. And then at that time, I think it's early in the morning here, when he opened his eyes, Swami Rama saw a snake is like sitting like this. It was like ready to attack. It's coiled up, but his head was slightly lifting. So when he saw that, he was so like petrified. But that snake was actually just sitting very still. It's about 2 feet in front of him. And it was actually, looking at him. And what he did, he immediately closed his eyes, and he didn't know what to do. And then after a few seconds, he opened his eyes, and he saw it's not moving. It's not moving. It is so like statue-like, and it's like frozen. So what Swami Rama did, he took the opportunity. He just quickly jumped and ran away. And after he ran away like few steps, he looked back, and then the cobra just went back to the bushes. So he went and conveyed this experience to his guru. So what the master says, it is very natural that any living creature to be in a state of meditation when it's near someone who is in deep meditation. Honestly, with my personal experience, it's very true. When I'm doing my meditation, all my pets will be like surround me in all direction, and they will be so calm. Of course, they can't sit like us, but they will be like sleeping on their own comfortable position, and they'll be so quiet. So, and even Tilama also informed me once. This one lady, she started meditating, and she had this pyramid in her house, and then this lot of stray cats start to come to her house. So they are attracted towards this kind of a divine energy. So they said, then in another time, again, he talks about his experience. So his Swami, his guru asked him to go to South India. He went to South India, and he went for asked for shelter, to stay there. And then the temple people never allowed him, and a lady came, and she offered a place to stay. And then she brought him into a hut, and it's a very run down the hut. And when he went inside, it was very like just a deer skin, and then something to cover, and then himself and a loincloth. And the moment she left, he started to realize something slithering around him. And then he got to know, actually, she didn't give him a shelter, she put him in a temple snake, where it's actually Swami Rama intruded this snake's temple. So there are so many snakes, but for him, he can't just run away. Because if he runs away, either he'll be attacked by the snakes, or the lady who is waiting outside, she will be like, okay, he is a cheater. He's not a true Swami. So if any Swamis that come for shelters, no, they will not entertain. So for that, what he said, okay, never mind. It's just a one night. So I will try to stay put. And what he thinks in his mind is, this lady who is not even enlightened, who might not be even educated, but she can come into the hut without any fear. But me, a learned person, why should I be afraid of this snake? And he remembered what his master said. If there is no danger, if he doesn't cause harm to the animals animals won't attack. So he stayed the whole night watching the snakes. So he didn't meditate. All he could is he just look at the snakes and then meditate on the cobras. And despite this two experience, Swami Rama said his fears for snake never actually ceased. And his fears towards the snakes is actually amplified. And he said he can do a lot of things. He can teach Brahma Sutra, he can the philosophy of fearlessness and everything, but when it comes to snake, he can never actually overcome that fear. So when he went to his Swami, he feels like, how can I be a master when I can't overcome my fear? So he went to his own guru and he said, sir, the master actually know why he came. He said, yes, I know what you want. You're afraid of the snake. Even though you conceal it from me, I know your fear. So he said, please eradicate this fear from me. So the Swami, he took him to the forest and he said, we're going to observe silence from tomorrow. So we're going to do a special puja. For that, we're going to go and collect certain leaves and flowers. So the next day they went, and then Swami Rama, he saw this big heap of leaves. So he wanted to go and pick the leaves. Suddenly he saw there was a cobra in it. And actually the cobra is in his hand, and he can't escape because it actually is holding it, and he don't know what to do. He's so frightened and he was trembling. At that time his master came and he said, bring it to me. And Swami, he's like, it won't bite, just bring it to me. But the Swami was like, what? I'm holding the death in my hand, you want me to bring it to you? And he's like, still in his heart he believed what his master said, but his fear is actually stronger than his trust toward his master. Then he's like, the master was like, why don't you love snake? And he's like, love the snake? How can you love something under the influence of fear? When that thing can bring you death, how can you love it? And the master said, see, they are such a beautiful creature. Even though they roam around in dirt and everything, they are so clean. Whereas you humans have to take bath every day to keep yourself clean. It is clean, but it's also dangerous, Swami Rama said. And then his guru gave him some encouragement and said, animals, they won't attack unless they are feel harm. So when his guru started to talk to him, he realized, actually that snake didn't attack him. It was actually calm because it could read the people's, they say the animals can read your fears. So when the snake know Swami Rama, it's not going to bring any danger to it didn't actually attack him. So he started to overcome his fear. And what Swami Rama here says is, usually animals are very sensitive, and they know love and they know hatred. They can actually feel it, because we humans, we emit those emotions. And he said, when you feel that you are one in everything, those living things, they exist within you, and you exist within every living things, then you won't impose any threat to each other. And he said this fear is because of the insecurity. And because of the insecurity, you feel like imbalance in mind. You think that before anything attacks you, you have to secure yourself, so you kill those things or you attack. But in real, the actual intention of that animal might not be to attack you, because when it comes to fight or flight, animals usually they just flight. They won't stay to fight. But it's only human, we choose to attack other animals, as if like our life is more precious compared to the other animals. So he says that ahimsa is the foremost thing every spiritual person need to follow. And Atman is eternal, so sooner or later our body will need to return to where it came. So he said that with strong faith, the sages, they enjoy this life in the lap of Himalayas. That's all, Tilama.
Thank you, Pathma, for a wonderful clarification and presentation. Really enjoyed. Today everyone
so much of time.
Yeah, it's okay. Today everyone has done a wonderful job. Okay, I think we have Pashupati. Short and sweet because we have extended our time. Okay, unmute ma.
அது அரண்டவனுக்கு இருண்டதெல்லாம் பெயின் சொல்லுவாங்க. பாம்பை கண்டால் படையும் நடுங்கும். அப்புறம் வந்து இந்த பாம்பை பத்தி சொல்றப்ப எனக்கும் மெடிடேஷன் வந்த முன்னாடியும் பின்னாடியும் சரி, இந்த பெரிய உங்க கூட ஒரு நாள் சொன்னேன்ல, பெரிய ஒரு 3 அடி ஒரு அகலமா ஒரு 6 அடி கருப்பு பாம்பு வந்து எனக்கு வந்துட்டே இருந்துச்சு. மெடிடேஷனுக்கு அப்புறமும் ரொம்பவே பாத்ரூம் போனா தெரியல வந்துட்டே இருந்துச்சு. அப்புறம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த நம்ம இப்ப மேம் சொன்ன மாதிரி ஒன்னஸ்ன்ற மாதிரி பாத்தீங்கன்னா நானே வந்து தியானத்துல அந்த சைஸ்ல பாம்பா உட்கார்ந்துருக்கேன். அந்த மியூசிக் ஏத்த மாதிரி அதுக்கு பேர் என்ன, டமர் சத்தத்துக்கு சிவன் வந்து ஆடினது என் தலைமையில. அடுத்து ஃப்ளூட் சத்தம் வந்து கிருஷ்ணன் வந்து அப்படியே நல்லா அந்த பாதம் வந்து ரொம்ப ஜோரா வைக்கிறாங்க ஃபாஸ்டா. அதுக்கேத்த மாதிரி என் தலை வந்து அப் அண்ட் டவுனா அப்படியே நல்லா ஏறி இறங்குது அலை மாதிரி. அப்புறம் சத்குரு கூட வந்து இந்த ஆதிசிவன் அந்த அதுக்கு பேர் என்ன, கோயம்புத்தூர்ல இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா ஈஷா, அது பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி மெடிடேஷன் பண்றப்ப வந்து அந்த நாகம் வந்து வருமாமா அப்ப வந்து அங்க இருக்கிறவங்க ஏன் இந்த மாதிரி வருதுன்றப்ப அவங்களுக்கு இப்ப நீங்க ஷேர் பண்ண மாதிரி அந்த தியானம்ன்ற அந்த இது வந்து இருக்கிறப்ப அது வந்துருமாமா. பட் ஹானி அப்படின்னா எதுவும் ஹர்ட் பண்ணாது, நம்ம வைப்ரேஷனுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி. ஈவன் நம்ம பயந்தா அது வந்து நம்மள இது பண்ணும். நம்ம வந்து அந்த ஃப்ரீக்வன்சிக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி நம்ம எல்லாமே ஒன்னஸ் இருக்கிறப்ப அது நம்மள ஒன்றும் பண்ணாது.